Okay, welcome back for another webinar with Center for Home Ownership and Economic Development Business Academy. I'm your host, Terrence Staten, and I am so excited to invite back to our platform, Mr. Joe Matz of Eagle Business Services. How you doing, sir?
Doing great today, Terrence.
Good, good, good. So today we're going to learn 6 ways to overcome a business trauma. Tell us a little bit about your webinar this evening.
Well, we're going to start out talking about business trauma and what trauma means and how one might approach that and get through that. And what we're going to get into very quickly are solutions. So we'll talk about the problem a little bit, but we'll move very quickly into solutions.
Okay, sounds good. And I believe you have a little assignment for our viewers this evening. We're going to have a little bit of hands-on training. Can you tell us a little about your exercise?
Yeah, that's great. So I have an online academy that goes through many more things than what we'll talk about tonight. But in what we'll talk about this evening, there are some exercises. They're simple exercises. They can be done, and it might take us 5 minutes, perhaps. We won't dive deep too much into them. But if we have a volunteer or two who would like to go through the exercise, that would be great because, you know, some people learn by listening, some people by reading, some people by doing. And actually by doing would be the highest percentage of people in the United States, at least, that learn by doing. So we actually can't do any of this today, right? So, but we can do the exercises. And that's about the best we can do on this webinar tonight. So I really hope we do get some volunteers, and that it'll just mean so much more to you and everyone watching if we can go through these exercises.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I believe you want a little bit of interaction. So if that's the case, whenever you have any questions, you guys that's watching can come out of mute if you want to participate. Of course, if you have any questions, we will allot some time for you to address those questions. Other than that, sir, I am looking forward to your webinar, and let's get started.
All right. Now I'm going to share my screen in a little while. So if that function is available to me, that would be awesome.
Yes, you are ready to go.
Okay, great. Great. Yeah, so I do enjoy doing these webinars. I do a lot of masterminds and group coaching sessions. So I do like a lot of interaction. I think it's more important than what I say. It's what you hear and what it brings up in you, ideas, inspiration, you know, where that light bulb goes off because maybe we said something, maybe I said something, or someone else on our webinar tonight says something, and boom, it lights up an idea for you. Take notes on that. That will be the most important part of the webinar this evening. Okay. And with that, I'd like to get started. If we may, I'm going to share my screen. See if this works. It's always important to share the correct screen. So you all should see kind of a blank screen there, just with the window logo. Do you see that blue Windows logo?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. Super. And with that, let me see if I can get this slideshow going. Technology. Oh, there we go. Now we should see the promotional image for tonight's webinar.
Yes.
Okay, great. And I want to thank Terrence and the Center for Home Ownership and their business academy that they've got going on. There have been some fantastic presentations over the last few months, and I am just happy to be a part of that and happy to contribute. So thank you, Terrence, and thank you to your organization.
Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it.
The name of this webinar is 6 Ways to Overcome Business Trauma. And I think you know what we're talking about in this day and age when we talk about business trauma. Happened about end of February, beginning of March with the whole COVID-19. And Many businesses experienced something that we have never experienced with the shutdown, the lockdown, the in-home work, the businesses closing down. It has been quite dramatic, I would say. Um, so what we're going to talk about is what happens when you experience business trauma. It's almost like a personal trauma. With our image is the image of a doctor looking at a spine, and obviously that person, well, had experienced some trauma. And there's isolation. There's a feeling of being alone. There's a feeling of not knowing what to do. There's a little bit of shock. And I think a lot of us were in shock for a couple of months. And then we figured out what to do. We figured out how to survive, and we adapt and we move on. And the first thing about trauma, there's the short term, stop the bleeding, right? Cut the expenses, stabilize things, look for new revenue streams so that we can survive to thrive. And then we've got the long term, where we're talking about basically answering the question, what do I need to do so this never happens again? So that my business is in a situation that if something similar happens, I can get through it. My business will survive because I've created a business that can thrive in any situation, a business that is durable, that's stabilized, that has a low risk. And we're going to talk about these different items here, the differentiation. Let me just go here. So stopping the bleeding and cutting expenses, most businesses have already done that. If they haven't done that, they may not have made it through this crisis. And now what we need to do is help those businesses stabilize, create new revenue streams, differentiate their product. That may include a recurring revenue stream. It may include de-risking the business or systemizing processes so everything is not a crisis. Every new thing or things that come up similar on a regular basis, not a crisis. And we want to improve cash flow. Okay. During the webinar, we're going to talk about a number of different concepts. And you may be asking yourself, does this apply to my business? Now, what I'd like you to do is not ask that question. If I may suggest a better question, how does this apply to my business? Okay, are you with me? What I'm trying to do here is open up your mind. Is the scenarios I talk about and the solutions, maybe the problems, and then the solution may not directly apply to your business, but hopefully you'll find some nuggets of information there that will be applicable to your business. The first thing I want to talk about is the monopoly control. And when I say monopoly control, I'm really talking about the differentiation. Okay? And you have control of your market, of your business, when you have a differentiated product, a product or a marketing strategy, a marketing message that is different from everything else out there. Because if your product, service, and or your marketing methods are the same as everyone else, then your business is the same as everyone else's business, and you are commoditized. And commoditizing your product is something we want to avoid. There's no hero in the commoditized space. There's no power in the commoditized space. You're basically competing on price. And there's always going to be someone with a lower price. And we see that with gas stations, for example. Oftentimes on one corner, you'll find 2, 3, and in rare cases, even 4 gas stations, one on each corner. And they're all competing on price. They're trying to lower their price. They'll lower, you see one guy change their price to $1.59. The next guy changes it to $1.58, and then it's $1.57, because gasoline is basically commoditized, right? So we don't want that in our business. What we want to do is differentiate our business and or our marketing message so that when potential customers are out there looking, or we're out there reaching out to potential customers, they see our business and our solutions, our products, our services as the only thing that's exactly going to fit their need at the time. So there are a couple things we can do with marketing differentiation. You find an attribute or benefit of your product that makes it unique in the marketplace. So the question I would ask is, what problem do you solve, or what solution do you offer? The more you understand the problem that your niche market has, or the solution that they're looking for, the better you can market to them. So it allows you to have control over pricing. When you have control over pricing, and the reason you have that is because you have a unique position. And we'll talk about Apple computers. You may be an Apple person, you may be a PC person, tend to fit in one of these two categories. Apple charges more for their products because they have a market definition, differentiating position. They have a unique product. They understand what the consumers want. They make elegant products that are simple to use, and they control the pricing. You'll spend a lot more for an Apple computer than a PC, or an Apple phone than a PC. And they're able to do that because of their marketing differentiation, and they have higher margins. What does that do for them? It allows them to have more money, to make more profit. And they are one of the most, if not the most valuable business in the world today. And they have more money then for more marketing differentiation, more product differentiation. They can control the pricing. Then they have higher margins. Then they have more money for marketing. And it goes around and around. And since the 80s, that's how they built the empire that they have today. An example is Panasonic's entry into the crowded laptop market. But they were not amongst the first companies to enter the laptop market. It was already nearing the mature level of penetration in the market. But they looked at what was going on in the market. And they looked at these two items: differentiating their product. Right? So we go from not very differentiating to very differentiating. And we go from, what do the customers care about? They care very little, or they care very much. And they looked at Apple, and Apple was sexy. Apple was smooth. They had great marketing. They had a great corporate culture understood by the masses. They looked at Dell. Dell sold directly to clients. That was their market differentiating position. Hewlett-Packard, they had innovative technology. Not very differentiating, because the other companies had that also at some level. And Panasonic thought, what could we do that they are not doing? And if you happen to be part geek like I am, they came out with the Tough Book. They came out with the toughest laptop out there. The military uses it. Job sites, contractors use it. The government uses it, where laptops may be put into very difficult situations, very tough situations. That's why they called it the Tough Book. No one else was doing that. And they created their own market position because they listened to the customers. They saw an opportunity to bring to market something that wasn't there. And therefore, we have today the Panasonic Tough Book. Very expensive, but very tough. So I wonder, in your business, what do you have that differentiates your offering from all the other offerings out there? And we actually have an exercise in my online academy that we can look at if you'd like to volunteer. If we have a brave person out there to volunteer, we can look at your products, we can look at your mix and see what is the most differentiating product or service that you have, and then how much the customers care or don't care. And that information allows for further, how we say, development of that product and of your name, if you will, in the marketplace. So we can do that now, or we can go through a number of different scenarios and a number of different items that we'll talk about, and we can do it later. Okay, I'll give you just a minute to see if we have a volunteer.
I don't mind volunteering.
Anita, you are my favorite person of the minute.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what I
Okay.
can do here about opening this up. Okay. All right, can you see my my screen at this point?
I can see it. Now let me see if I can read it.
Oh my gosh, that might be it. Well, you don't need to read that.
Okay. I
That's
can
okay.
see it though.
Okay, great. Let's start the exercise.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna call this Anita.
Okay.
Okay, the best. Okay. Now, with the product, your business is a service business, if I understood correctly.
Yes.
Okay. And if you see my eyes shifting left and right here, it's because I have a second screen.
I already know that you have to have 2 or 3 screens.
My camera's on one and my exercise is over here.
Okay. I understand.
So let's think about the features or benefits of the services that you offer.
Okay.
And we're going to come up with a number of these. So what is a feature or benefit that you offer to your clients?
I offer. So do I just need to list them or list things? And I think that's kind of my issue. I haven't quite defined everything. I'm still kind of all over the place.
Okay. Well, let's would you take just 30 seconds or so and explain what your business is for anyone who came in after we had our little conversation in the beginning, and then we'll brainstorm a little bit.
Awesome.
Think about some features and benefits.
Okay. So what I do is I'm a virtual assistant or a personal assistant that kind of scan kind of every aspect of a business. If I do it like online, I'll do the virtual part, but it's again doing administrative tasks for businesses and also for individuals. And if I do the personal one, these are for kind of again more people that are local that I'll actually come out to you and do those tasks, administrative tasks, and I have a list of services that I'll do for you.
Okay. So someone might hire you to save time.
Save time. I am very good at streamlining processes. And I can make a training program and presentation from beginning to end. I can streamline any process that you have. I do to-do list, work job descriptions. I can even hire to the point of hiring to firing.
Okay, to-do list. You also do some copy editing, some copywriting.
I do copywriting. I do press releases. I do social media. I can create your manual. I can create the manual. After that, I can create policies, procedures, anything that your business need. And I can, like I said, I'm all about cutting the fat.
Okay, so what is the feature or the benefit to the client?
Okay, if I can take your processes and I can streamline them, and I can save you time. I can save you money. and that gives you more free time to do concentrate on your business or to do whatever you want to do, go on vacation, whatever. And also it's kind of, and it lasts, if I do like a kind of streamline your processes, you can see kind of savings from that going on and on and on for years and stuff. It's just not that one time thing. You have the whole, I can have the whole program to you.
That's kind of tough to get into one or two words.
It is.
Does, does anyone else have some ideas there for Anita? How could we condense that into 1, 2, or 3 words?
Optimize your business, streamline your business, make your business more efficient.
Efficiency, okay. We'll just put that, that's good. Streamline we have.
Okay.
We've got save time, streamline process, to-do list, save money, efficiency.
Okay.
And one thing I would like to see in a service like that is that you write better than I do.
Yes, I do. I actually do.
I'm sure you do. Unfortunately, it's not a very high bar when we're talking about my writing skill. So we'll just do copy editing here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's enough to get going.
Okay.
Let's, the next step. Now, please rank each of your sales and marketing messages on the degree to which they make you different from your competition. So they're saying marketing messages. Let's think services. I think I might have missed a click I should have done in the beginning.
Okay.
So to rank them on the degree to which they make you different from your competition. See, I can grab these and move them. So
I think
what do you think is the most important to your clients?
I think save time and save money are always very important to people to me. I don't know which one is number one though.
Okay, we'll put them both up there in that order for now.
Okay. And I will put next, let's do the efficiency. And I'll leave the to-do list and copy it. I'll do copy editing under streamline.
Okay. Okay, are you happy with that order?
Yes. The time and money, yeah. Yeah.
We can switch those if you like.
I want to switch.
So we have save money at the top now.
Yes, let's go with the dollar bills.
Very good. Okay. Now it looks like the same list here, but I'm going to ask you to reorder them into which you think are most important to your customers when it comes to their buying decision.
Okay. When it comes to buying, I think let's go with efficiency. Save time.
Okay.
Streamline processes. Then let's go to money.
Money comes after streamlined processes.
Yes, because I think people are willing to pay for, if they get quality, they're willing to pay.
Okay. So it's less dependent on the actual money that it would cost them, or that they would save.
Yes, because I think, like I said, if I'm buying something, I'm still going to look for the quality. To me, I'm trying to still get money in the back of the mind, but I will pay more for quality if I get quality work.
Okay. Okay. Are you happy with those, with the order we have these in?
Efficiency, save time. Yes.
Okay. Let's see what we come up with here.
Okay.
Okay, can you read that?
I can read some. I'm gonna pull this thing closer to me. Okay.
You see, I'm not sure I can make that any larger. The
That's
problem
no
is I have
problem.
a very big screen over to my left, and it probably looks a lot smaller what you're
And
looking
I'm
at.
trying. Oops. Oh my gosh, I went out. Can y'all hear me?
I can.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I popped up. I was trying to make my screen bigger, and I think I did something that I don't see my screen now.
You're coming through loud and clear. I don't know what you're looking at though.
Oh no, I'm looking at my Zoom thing meeting. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, I got you back.
Okay. So now we look at on the side here, we have the degree to which customers care.
Mm-hmm.
And on the bottom, we have the level of differentiation.
Okay.
So what's kind of in the middle of both is a streamlining process.
Okay.
Right? What's at the bottom is a to-do list and the copy editing.
Okay.
So if we've done our job right in answering those questions, these are probably things that you shouldn't focus on
Okay.
because the customers don't care that much and it doesn't differentiate you.
Okay.
Here's the sweet spot right here, efficiency and saving time.
Okay.
Because there's a higher level of differentiation and the degree to which the customers care is very high.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yes.
Now, saving money has a lot of differentiation here, but the customers don't seem to care that much, although you will find the bargain hunters, the people for which money is very important, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if this survey, let's call it a survey, the exercise, was given to a number of different customers, they would come up with a number of different answers. Each person's matrix would look different. Does that make sense?
That makes plenty of sense.
So one thing that we like to do is ask the customers, what was it about my offer that you hired me or my company as opposed to someone else? What was that differentiating factor that I beat them out, so to say? You went with me.
Okay.
Now, you might not want to say that to a customer, to a new customer. That's more after you've done some work, you've built a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, asking those kinds of questions to a number of different customers, you'll come out with what they find important. And I'll give you an example of a photographer that went through our system. And his price was very good. The quality of his photography, very good, just like hundreds of other photographers out there.
Mm-hmm.
And he thought that the people liked him for his creative juices that he put into the project, for the beautiful photos. And he asked customers, why? Why did you choose me over the other photographers in the marketplace? And what they said was a surprise to him, because what they said was, you delivered quickly.
Oh.
You promised to deliver the photos within 48 hours, where the other folks were a whole week.
Wow.
And he was very surprised because he didn't think that was it. He a little depressed because he thought it was his creativity, right?
Yes.
But he found out by asking the customers.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Are there any questions or comments on this exercise before we move on? Okay, so I'm going to get back to the slide presentation and move on to recurring revenue. Now, recurring revenue, we can think of this also as subscription. And I think a lot of folks think of subscriptions in a very limited sense. We think about magazine subscriptions. We think about subscriptions to software or website hosting. If you have a website, you're probably paying for hosting somewhere, either on a monthly, yearly basis, something like that. If you have a website, you're paying to own that website. It's a small fee every year, but you have to pay that subscription. But there are many types of subscriptions. And we're going to go through these quickly because I have an entire presentation that takes about 1 hour. And even then, it feels like I'm going through it quickly. But there are actually 9 different levels or 9 different subscription models. Many businesses can apply these. And I'm sure as you think about this and you think about that question, how does this apply to my business? You'll see a subscription model that may fit your business, 1 or 2 or 3 even. Okay. But why would you want to consider a subscription model? It increases the lifetime value of your customers. There's predictability. And I'll give you some examples of that in a little while. With supplies, inventory, staff, if you know what you're going to be selling. Think about if you had a magazine and you knew next month you were selling 100,000 magazines. You would know how many advertisers you needed for that magazine. You would know how many pages you need, how many copywriters you need, how much you would have to spend in distribution because you know you have 100,000 going out. Planning, simplifies planning. Predictability in revenue. Right? All of that equates to a scalable business because you know what it's doing. You know what it's going to do a month from now. There's the Trojan horse effect. Amazon is the best at this. You know, there's almost 100 million subscribers in the US to Amazon Prime. The average Amazon Prime member spends about $1,500 a year on products through Amazon. The average non-member who buys from Amazon spends $600. A non-member $600, member $1,500. The reason is once you're a Prime member, you trust Amazon, you believe in Amazon. You've also paid $120 or $130 that it is now to be a member, and you're thinking, I've got to justify that cost. They give me free shipping. I have to buy from them. I have to justify that $130. They have a marketing avenue directly to you also. And that's why the Amazon Prime member spends more than twice as much. So think about that. And we see that in many different businesses. It's about leveraging that relationship that you have with your clients. And it also increases the value of your company. So you have a more valuable company. Here's an example of the $1 million security company. Now, this is a security company that works in home and residential security cameras, security for the doors, for the windows, motion detectors, things like that. Right? We all know about those companies. A company that has 100% of their revenue from installation is worth in the market, now this is about company value, is worth in the market about $750,000. A company that gets their earnings from monitoring security systems that are already installed is worth $2 million. They both have $1 million in revenue, but one company's worth $750,000, another company's worth $2 million. Why is that? It's because the company that makes their money with the monitoring has subscriptions. They have customers that pay that subscription every month, or maybe they have a yearly plan, and they keep their customers. They keep 92%, 95% of their customers each year because of the cost involved in changing out your system. There's another example in an industry that these two gentlemen changed. These two gentlemen created a company called H. Bloom, Sonu Panda and Brian Burkhart. They got into a market that before had no subscription at all. And I think it shows that the limit is your imagination. They got into the retail flower business to companies and corporations. See, normally what happened before H. Bloom came around is someone in the office, maybe the administrative assistant, maybe the secretary, maybe the receptionist, would go Monday morning to the florist, buy some flowers, spend whatever it might be, $50 on flowers, bring them to the office, throw out the old ones, put in the new ones. And they did this every week, every week, every week. For the florist knew they had that business. That's great. But you know, the average florist throws out about 40% of their inventory. Because if someone doesn't buy the flowers don't last forever. They throw out 40% of their inventory every week. What Sonu and Brian said was, you know, there's a better way. Why don't we go to the companies and we will deliver the flowers to them every week on a subscription basis? They created H. Bloom. H. Bloom also has the advantage of they go directly to the producer of the flowers. Now, the florist shop, most of them don't do that. The flowers come through a wholesaler, through a distributor, and then to the flower shop. So that takes a little while. Meanwhile, the flowers are not doing as well as they did in the ground. When Sonu and Brian go to pick up the flowers, they go right to the producer. The flowers were harvested early that morning. They pick them up, deliver them within a day to the business. So they created this national network. The flowers are fresher, they're more beautiful. They arrive directly at the office for the same money or cheaper than the office or maybe the hotel was paying beforehand. Does that make sense? Is that amazing? Guess what their waste is? Their waste isn't 40%. Their waste is 3%. That alone allows them to pay for the shipping and the delivery, plus more profit. Okay. So let's look at a couple of business subscription models. And again, I'm going to go through this very quickly. If anyone would like some more details or go over this, just talk with me. I've got a white paper out there that explains each model. I'll be happy to talk with you individually also. The consumable model. People are willing to pay for convenience. You all know about the Dollar Shave Club, right? In my house, I order coffee. Every 2 weeks, I get a pound of espresso beans. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go to the store. I don't ever run out. Every 2 weeks, I get a pound of espresso beans, and it's wonderful. We also have dog food on a subscription basis. No, those are 30-pound bags, and they come right to the door when I need them. The surprise box model. There are surprise boxes for everything. For children, for young adults, for older adults. There's a surprise box for men who grow beards. I'm not a member, but there are members there. There's a surprise box of science projects for children. There's surprise boxes for different wines. There's surprise boxes of chocolates that you get, customized boxes of chocolate every month from organic growers around the world. If you love chocolate, that is a great way to do it, right? So it's specially curated products that consumers are passionate about. Am I going backwards? Oh, there we go. The simplifier model. Okay. This works well for personal services. Everyone wants to simplify their life. At my house, we have a guy who takes care of the lawn for us. We have a guy who takes care of the bugs and makes sure we don't get any bugs inside, and we just pay him. And especially the guy with the lawn. I am not a farmer by any means. I don't know how to take care of my lawn, so I simply pay the guy, and he comes here every month and puts in the lime or whatever, the fertilizer, whatever's needed. Right? That is great. Simplifies my life. Front of the line subscription model. This is a subscription model that can be applied to many services. And the big example is the Salesforce program. If you're not familiar with Salesforce, it's a program that companies use, very large companies. They may have 100, 1,000, 10,000 salespeople out there. They use Salesforce. Salesforce has a response time of 2 days, 48 hours. If you have a problem, you email them or go on their chat, they'll fix it within 2 days. For a premium price, they'll get back to you and resolve your problem and start working. Well, if they can't resolve it, they'll put it on priority and start working on it within 15 minutes. If you've got 1,000 salespeople or 100 salespeople, imagine them being out of work and not being able to do their job for 2 days. Incredible loss, even if they were out for a day. So these companies pay a lot of money to be on the front of the line and get that 15-minute response time. On a smaller example, when I used to have a website building and hosting business, I had a front of the line subscription model. I didn't know it was called that, but I had a response time of 2 days also. And I told people, the people who paid the extra money to have access 24/7, they could call me in the middle of the night and I would respond. And the wonderful thing about that, in 5 years, I got 2 calls after 10 p.m. Only 2. And people paid for this service because it was a convenience to them. It was a security, almost an insurance policy to them. The peace of mind model. We might think about insurance in this peace of mind model. Partly in my hosting business, it was a peace of mind, knowing that if their website went down or there was an issue, they could call me right away and I'd be on it no matter what. Peace of mind model might be insurance for your pets. Our pet actually has insurance. Both of our pets, they have insurance. Membership model. This might be something like Facebook. It might be something like the Woodworkers Guild. It might be something like a mastermind group, for example. You need a number of people. You have to have access to exclusive information for the membership model. There is a wonderful site out there if you want to look at it and investigate some of these membership models, because it might apply to you. It's called Patreon or Patreon. And they have a lot of membership models there that they make available to the members on that site. There are people making whole lots of money by having a lot of members. The private club model, you might think about golf courses, tennis clubs, swim clubs, things like that. And then the all-you-can-eat library model. We all know about Netflix, Pandora, Spotify. See, I might like rock and roll, classic rock and roll, and I might not like, I don't know, pop music and rap music, but when I pay for my Pandora subscription, I get all of that. Although I only listen to a very small portion, but I pay for the whole thing. That's why they call it the all-you-can-eat model. And I guess it comes from a smorgasbord type restaurant that you pay for the buffet. You pay for the whole buffet, even if you only eat the vegetables. And we'll skip the networking model. So these are the 9 models here. And again, if you want more information on this, I'd be happy to share the white paper that I have on it or talk with you privately. Any questions on this? Any comments?
No, sounds good. Very informative.
All right, and I know we're moving on time here, so um, let's go through the Switzerland structure. Now, the Switzerland structure comes about from the country of Switzerland, which remains neutral. Switzerland has not been involved in any of the world wars. They remain neutral. And what you want your business to be is neutral, the goal of neutrality. You don't want to be dependent on a single supplier. You don't want to be dependent on a single customer or a single employee. The more diverse you are, the more suppliers you have, the more customers you have, the more secure your business. Now, I worked with a business a few years ago. They provided testing services for a company. They didn't provide the course for this technology company, but they provided the testing for the technology company. They made millions of dollars on these tests. It was a very large company that provided the courses, but they didn't want to get involved with the testing. The company I worked with did the testing. And unfortunately, what happened was this company that did the courses realized how much money they were spending on this other company that I was with. About 60% of their revenue came from doing these tests. They lost that customer. They fired 80% of their workforce within a month. They couldn't support it anymore. They killed projects that they were working on because they lost 60% of their revenue. They were dependent on one single customer. Makes a company very vulnerable, let's say, right? So you want to avoid that with these three areas in your business. That creates more security for your future revenue. You want to have various channels of distribution, various channels of marketing. You want to have different ways that people can pay you. Some people like credit cards more so now than before. Some people like checks, some people like cash, some people like PayPal, some people like Stripe, et cetera, et cetera. You want to diversify your demographics if you can, right? Where people live, where you offer your services, right? Think about companies that operated in California in small towns that have been destroyed recently by fires. Those companies are basically, their whole demographics moved out of the area, at least temporarily, because of the fires in that area. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
one way you can do this, we'll look at employees, right? How difficult is it to replace your employees? Or you might think, how difficult would it be to replace your supplier? If you're a printing company and you get your paper from one company, what if something happens to that company? You can't get your paper anymore. I'm not saying you have to get the paper from different suppliers right now, but you should have them in line. Okay? When I managed a restaurant, there were two big suppliers that we worked with, and they would bring a whole lot of food to our restaurant twice a week, and they were always fighting to get in. One wanted to take the business from the other. That's normal. But I kept relationships with both of them, and they would offer certain advantages. They would say, hey, Joe, if you buy all your products from me, we'll give you these marketing assets. You buy all the products from me, I can give you better prices. But I didn't want to be dependent on one. So I always kept the other one, ordering a little bit from them. One time I switched totally. And I was buying all my products over here and a little bit over here. And then I was buying them all here and a little bit over here. Just made sense at the time. But you never want to be dependent. You know, that's like a risk assessment. You might think of it as a risk assessment. You want to have as less risk as possible in your business. The hub and spoke model, when we talk about the hub and spoke, think about a wheel. Um, a bicycle wheel works because it's got all the spokes going into the hub, and all the spokes go to the wheel that keeps that rotating, keeps the bike moving. Kind of looks like this. Now, on a bicycle, that's what you want. In your business, not so much, right? What if all the customers come to you? What if the employees have a problem and they come to you to solve that problem? What if the suppliers come to you because you're the owner, you're the man, you're the woman, you're the boss. They want to deal with the boss, the decision maker. They all come to you. Now, in the beginning of your business, you probably will be doing everything, and you probably look like the hub of the wheel, right? The business is dependent on you. A good goal to have is that the business is not 100% dependent on you. And that might be a medium-term goal. It might be a long-term goal, but it is possible to develop systems and processes and a culture in your business so that you don't have to be involved with all of the details. Empower your customers to make decisions with an employee. Empower your employees to make some decisions. It starts out small with delegation, but it could become a method and an avenue to create such freedom in your business that the business could basically thrive without your day-to-day, nose to the grindstone, crisis to crisis, if you will, management. I know business owners, they can't turn off their phone on Friday afternoon, Saturday, or Sunday. I know other business owners that go into the office a few hours a week. Which one would you rather be? Right? Now, there's a lot of other factors, I know, but in between there somewhere, there's a nice balance. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for balance. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but to have a business that can thrive without your day-to-day crisis to crisis management, that's kind of the dream, because you started your business to have freedom to make your own choices. Most business owners didn't start their business to work 70 or 80 hours a week. Although in the beginning, you need that energy. I understand that. And we've all been through that if you own your business, right? But we can put processes, systems in place so that in the future, we can have more freedom to scale our business, maybe to enter a new geographical location, or maybe to play more golf, if that's what you like to do. How do you get there? Again, I have exercises, there are books, there are other business coaches that can help you. There's a whole lot of ways to get there. And that would be desirable. The last thing I want to talk about is financial performance. And I'll just be very quick on this. Know your numbers. Keep record of your expenses and time and money that you spend on advertising and the results that it gets. There are many advertising channels. If you know your numbers, you know the results you're getting, you know your return on investment or your ROI, and you can decide to spend the money where you get the most bang for your buck. Maintain clean books. This is very important. You have to know, you want to know where your money's going and where it's coming from. A lot of business owners don't. And if you're just beginning your business, I hope this seems like amazing and incredible and like you would never think that people don't know where their money comes from and where it goes. But there are businesses out there, and they're unfortunately very numerous, but they're not really sure where the money comes and goes because they haven't maintained the clear books. Do what you can to maintain clean books. Let me just leave it at that. So I want to make a special offer for everyone who's attending today. Right? And one of the most important decisions that you make is where to spend your time and other resources. And I'd like to offer a free 30-minute consultation We can go through one of the exercises if you like, or we could just have a general conversation about business. And for those 30 minutes, I will be on your side. I'm always on your side, but you get my personal attention for 30 minutes there. And if you would like to do that, just reach out to myself or reach out to Terrence. He can get us in touch. And I'm able to do this because of the sponsorship, the Center for Home Ownership. So a big thank you to those guys and Terrence especially. And if you want to take me up on a 30-minute consultation, please feel free to do so. I'm not out there trying to make a sale. I'm not trying to convince you to buy anything. We're going to have a 30-minute conversation on your business and whatever I can do to help your business. And maybe if we throw some ideas around and do some brainstorming and figure out some things. And what I hope for all of you here is the best success and future for you, your business, your family. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. That was an awesome presentation as usual. And I'm looking in the comments, and it seems like Miss Anita and Belinda is intrigued by the white papers on a consumable. And so perhaps they might want to get a little bit more information on that. And then I believe Anita is interested in meeting with you at some point to get some consultation. So yes, it seemed like your information went well.
So let me put my email address in the chat. And that is the best way to get in touch with me.
Okay, so that's joe.matz, M-A-T-Z, at eaglebusinessservices.com.
And Anita and Belinda, if you would like the white papers, just if you put your email address in the chat, I'll be sure and save that chat and I'll get that to you. Or you can contact me at my email address and I will get it to you.
Okay, and I'm going to read a comment from Belinda. She said, I would like white papers on the consumable. Peace of mind, simpler, or simpler, is that a simple buyer? I'm sorry. And subscription model. Also, any other model you feel would be good for me to look at that may go well with a service business that caters towards parents of preschool and school-aged children. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Belinda, if you put your email address in the chat, I'll be sure and get that to you by tomorrow. I see Anita's email. Thank you for that, Anita. And I will get the white paper to you. Absolutely.
And Anita is also confirming that she's wanting the white paper.
Okay. And if you want the 30 minutes consultation, just let me know. Either now in the chat or when I send you the white papers, just respond and we'll set that up. Okay, great.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds good. Well, Belinda and Anita, thank you all so much for chiming in tonight. We are so grateful. Mr. Matz, it's always a pleasure having you on our platform. You do an amazing job. I also want to let you guys know that this coming Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we're going to have another webinar called Stop Going in Circles, Increasing Growth and Profit. So join me with Sherelle James. She is a profit strategist of My Local CFO to learn where to focus your attention as a business owner, how to keep more of the money you're making in your business and accelerate your business growth. Again, that's going to be this Thursday, October 29th at 6:30 p.m. You definitely do not want to miss this webinar. It will be amazing. Well, other than that, Mr. Matz, do you have any final words you would like to share to the audience?
Not at this time, Terrence. I appreciate all the nice comments. That means a lot to me, and thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for sharing. And I'm sorry I was late. I had a dentist appointment and she was just a little longer than I expected.
That's okay, Belinda. We're
but
glad you
it
made it.
looks good. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Very good.
Sounds good. Well, again, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you right back here on Thursday. Until then, you all have a safe evening. Peace and blessings to you all. And we will see you soon. Take care.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you,
much.
Terrence.
Bye. Thank you for
Goodbye.
your information.
My pleasure. Thank you, everyone. Bye now.
Bye.